Hello, I'm starting a new series. It's going to be faction spotlights from Medieval 2. I'm gonna go through all these. I'm gonna just go down the list and skip any that I don't know about. Maybe it's gonna be these three that I skip, because no one plays them, and So we'll start with England. Okay, so I'll just go over the different units, different types of units. I'm gonna start with cavalry. So obviously you've got General's Bodyguard. I'll just select all the ones that you'd ever think of bringing. Alright, so these are all the cavalry units that you'd ever think of bringing. Bodyguard, kind of self-explanatory. You might use them as your bodyguard. That's about it, so I'm just going to make these go away. There's three main cavalry units that you're going to want to use, like, in major situations, which would be the English Knights, Hospitaller, and Templar. These two, because every Christian faction has them, except for, like, Poland, for some reason. And, the English Knights, who are... The only reason you might want to take them over the Hospitaller and Templar is because they have maces, so they have AP. The defense is the same, the attack is lower on the English Knights, but they have AP, so it probably evens out. They are also slightly cheaper. Are the upgrades any cheaper? Upgraded 955, nope, go away. Upgraded, said upgraded 980. So the English Knights are slightly cheaper. So, I mean, if you want to go for a cheaper option, go ahead, go for those guys. That's kind of the main cavalry force you're going to use. These two are interchangeable. It's just take Hospitaller if you want 2 armor upgrades, because Templar only get 1. But if you have a ton of money, then I'd go for these. And then the last unit of knights that you might ever think of using would be mailed knights. And the reason you might want to use mailed knights is if you are attacking in a siege, which England's really good at. You could use these to protect your units, chase down other units, catch them off guard, and then send in some of your infantry that you have, which the English infantry is very good. So that's why you would want to use these. I would probably not upgrade them either. So England has a couple of units of archers that you want to use and a couple that you don't want to use, and one that is just like, why though? So the 3 main archers that you're probably going to see people use are the retinue longbowmen, the yeoman archers, and the regular longbowmen. The difference between these is as they go up, the missile damage slowly goes up. From the longbowmen have the lowest missile damage, and then the yeoman archers and retinue longbowmen have the same, but the reason the retinue are more expensive is because they have higher melee attack and defense. Do they have a higher charge? No, actually, the yeoman archers do. It's probably because they have the clubs. That's what I would assume. They all have AP, so that's why they do tons of damage even though the missile is only 8. They will rip through infantry, so that's cool. Archer militia, everyone has them. They're kind of bad. Like, even though these missile is 5 and this missile is 6, these guys are infinitely better because they have AP. So it's like, eh. So the Sherwood Archers, I wouldn't recommend bringing them because of how small their unit is. They have half the unit size of most units. Most are 120 for infantry. And the Sherwood Archers only have 60. So I would not take them. They have 2 hit points, which is the only reason you would ever take them, because they have extra hit points, and they have a ton of missile damage. Like, they will, I mean, if you have 2 units of them, they will rip through things way faster than retinue, but I don't think they will beat them outright, because they're also cheaper, so you never know. Alright, next up is the English infantry. They have they're one of the best infantry factions. These are the more units. These are really good. Armored swordsmen, they're equal to the chivalric knights, and what else is equal to them? The Polish Knights, I think, are the same as well, and the Noble Knights of Scotland. So these are like the best bread and butter infantry, except for conquistadors, because only Spain and Portugal have those. That's their. You want to bring these. You also want to probably bring dismounted feudal knights, because dismounted feudal knights are like the bomb.com, if you know what I mean. They're like the ultimate knights. Only thing the armored swordsmen have over them is a little bit of defense. Yeah, so these are your two main infantry, sword and shield infantry, especially Manila. You want to bring these two. This is mostly a vanilla multiplayer guide, by the way. And then another unit you have is dismounted English knights, who are like the, I don't remember what the French ones were. But they're the polearm two-hander knights. They will wreck cavalry in charges. Like, if you can charge a unit of cavalry with these, they will destroy them, because they have a really high charge. I think they have a higher charge. They have as high of a charge as the mailed knights, and their attack is over double. They will wreck things in charges. It's pretty good, actually. And then you have the Billman units. So there's two main Billman units that you would want to bring, which are the Heavy Billman and the Heavy Bill Militia. If you can, you want to bring the Heavy Billman, because they have good stamina, which the Heavy Bill Militia do not. So they will get tired less quickly. Therefore, they're just better. You also have the Billman and the Bill Militia, who just get progressively worse. They have little to no armor. Their defense is super low. They will get wrecked. And also armored sergeants, kind of basic spearmen. Spearmen in this game are just not good. Like, there's just no reason to bring them, really. Yeah, that's about it. And the artillery is pretty average. They don't have any special units, really, except for, well, I mean, they have special units, but no special unit types like some factions do. So I'm gonna go ahead and load up a battle and like go over some things that you can do with these lads. Alright, so if you consider this a bonus, I mean, one thing is the English troops look really good. Like, look at these lads. English knights. Also, the longbows look epic. Do the armored swordsmen look good? They look okay. But, you know, it's just pretty good. So I'm going to start and kind of... So, one thing is the longbows all have stakes, so you can use them pretty defensively, fairly effectively. And cavalry support's pretty easy. You just use the two-handed infantry. I wouldn't use billmen as... Like, that. You can use the billmen as a replacement for a pikeman if you want units like that. But I would use English knights instead. I brought a unit of billmen, because why not? Like, putting them in the front line with cavalry fighting is useful-ish. These guys will do more, but they're okay. Do they have the... No. They're just like two-handers. So, longbows they'll use their ammo very quickly, but they can shred through infantry and stuff. Cavalry also... Is the AI gonna... Are they seriously charging into... Are they, like, trying to go through the gaps? A bunch are gonna die. Yep, there you go. Send these guys in. It looks like the Frenchies are running away. Is it really a surprise, though? Funny joke, right? Basically just try to get around them. They're a pretty standard Western faction, but the longbows make it kind of easier to defend. Also, they're really good in sieges because they've got some pretty neat abilities to just arc over walls. And charges are pretty good. I'm gonna try to get around these guys. See if I can get one to charge with these two-handers. Oh, there's some cavalry over here. They're gonna try to charge me in wedge. Let's see. These guys should. Yeah, look at that. They just got destroyed in that charge. They're just gonna start dropping as well. Oh, they broke. Yeah, these guys are really good at charging. That's like their thing. The only problem with the longbows is how fast they can use their ammo. In sieges, it could be somewhat of a problem. Another reason England is a very good siege battle faction is because of how good their infantry is. They've just got some pretty good infantry. I'm not going to go over campaign because campaign's pretty just do it, but multiplayer is more complicated. That was the, you know, England guide. I think I'm probably going to continue this. France next, probably, because they're next on the list. But yeah, I at least want to get through this first row and possibly like halfway through this row up to the Moors because they're pretty good. Or I could cherry pick the factions. I don't know. But yeah, that was the first faction spotlight video. You should subscribe if you're not, because that's a good thing. Like it if it's good. Don't if it's not. If you have any suggestions, like if you'd rather me do a different faction of Inland France, you can say, you know, not Battle of the Last Cookie, because that's not a faction. Sean.